My guest at this time is an AEW star and the subject of the new children's book, Adam Page and the Golden Horseshoe. It's Adam Page. Adam, thank you very much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Oh, hello. What's up? How are you?
I'm doing very well, man. A lot better now. Well, this is really cool, man. I got to spend my morning, usually when I get given books to review for the site, it takes a long time. It takes hours, right? I have to really plan a lot of questions.
They're usually so long. Oh my God, yeah.
Books
are so long.
Books are so long, man. Reading is
and they're hard.
Reading is
and
hard.
They usually don't have a lot of pictures either. Oh my God.
I know. This was actually like a really enjoyable way for me to start my day off, was looking at all these pretty pictures and getting to read a little bit, like a very surface level look at your career, which I know quite about. We'll get into here. But before we get to all that, how'd the idea for this elite children's book series come about?
The series itself, I have no idea.
Okay, great.
I want to say that Trism Books maybe had worked with Colt Cabana in the past, and he had maybe was one of the first of kind of us group of guys who had written a children's book, and I guess maybe they approached Matt and Nick about the Young Bucks writing a book, and that kind of turned into a series of books that now includes a book by Cody and a book by myself as well. So mine is the third installment in that series, I guess.
Yeah, and I take it you took in Cody and the Bucks books as well when you were reading those? Did you get ideas for what you could maybe want to make your book be about?
Yeah, I guess so in so many ways. Just kind of understanding like the tone of a children's book. I haven't read a children's book in a very long time. Obviously, I don't have any kids, so just kind of getting to read through those and see, how you can relate pro wrestling or pro wrestling character into a children's book without making it overly about wrestling.
Yeah,
I guess what was key. Those books helped a lot.
Yeah, it's really unique here. You're taking all the members of the elite, making them kids, right? You can tell a lot more different stories about that. And one of the things I thought was interesting before we get into more about the book, you dedicated the book in part to your Sunday afternoon family. Can you clarify who that is and why you gave them that moniker?
Yeah, since I was a kid, my grandma would cook Sunday lunch for everyone, including some of those fried pies. But every Sunday, my grandma cooked lunch for the entire family. 10 or more people would come around every Sunday, and I guess that support system, even from the moment of birth, really until now, has been really the backbone of my life, my confidence, my everything.
Yeah. And so wait, fried pies is a real thing that your grandma made? What is a fried pie?
Oh yeah.
Please
you gotta get a fried pie. Fried pie is like a little, it's kind of like crescent shaped, like that kind of shape, you know what I mean? You just take, it's like a little circle, you fill it up with, usually it's apples, sometimes it's dried peaches. Apples and peach are the best too. Fold it over, you fry them up. It's a fried pie. It's so good.
Oh, okay. So it's like a sweet pie. It's like a moon pie a little bit.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. It would be just like dried fruits in a pie that has been fried.
Okay, got it. Because I read that in the book and I was like, what is a fried pie? All right, thank you for clarifying that. So what was it like for you? Like, were you friendly with the animator? Did you have a lot of influence in kind of the animation process going on in this book or no?
I was really surprised because I had to write a whole book. I thought it would be a little more hand-holding. I thought I thought it would be an easy process. I probably put more time and effort into writing this children's book than I have most things I've done in a very long time. So every single word, every piece of punctuation, nearly every piece of illustration is something that, I didn't actually do the illustration, but it's mine. I was really surprised about how hands-on it had to be.
Yeah. Wow. And talk to me about that process, man. I take it you've never written anything before? Like, what were the stresses? What did you learn in the process of having to put together a story like this?
Yeah, I don't think I've never written a book, certainly. It was different. It was a big learning curve. And like writing a children's book sounds easy, right? Because it's a children's book. How hard could it be?
Right.
It's very difficult to take, big ideas and condense them down into, one or two little sentences and be able to keep telling that story with that same kind of cadence, page after page after page. It's very difficult. It's very hands-on. I probably started writing it man, it's probably been a year ago or more, maybe more than a year ago. I don't know. It's been a long time ago
Wow.
when I started working on it. It was months and months and months of just emailing things back and forth and back and forth, and before we finalized, the text itself.
Yeah. Do you feel like your wrestling storytelling helped you put the book together? Were you like, man, this is where I'm going to do, the cutoff? Did you think about writing in those terms, or no? Am I out of school saying something like that?
No, yeah, kind of a little bit. Storytelling generally, follows similar patterns, right? So kind of just figuring out within the book, what that pattern's going to look like. You have to establish who I am, who these other characters are, what's happening, what's this quest for, what's it all about, how does it end, and what happens, and in terms of the fallout. I mean, that's kind of universal with everything.
Yeah, for sure. So talk to me a little bit here before we get in. We got a lot to get to here in the book, but this is really a story about you, Adam, and like your struggle and journey to get where you're at, kind of in your career at the moment. Why the cowboy? I mean, I see you always wearing the pearl snap button shirts and all that. Were you always like in a cowboy lifestyle? What gravitated you towards presenting yourself like this in the book and in kind of in life?
Yeah, I grew up on a farm, tobacco farm. We had cattle as well. So in many ways, I am a literal cowboy.
Okay.
I grew up working with cows and stuff like that. But I think just kind of the mythos of what the American cowboy is, and to me, it's not necessarily about cows or horses, right? It's not about boots and spurs. It's about kind of the sense of trying to figure out who you are, where you belong in the world, and how difficult often that journey is. That to me is the story of what a cowboy is, and maybe that's kind of, I've always seen that maybe in myself in my life.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. So what from like your early life here? I didn't know that you grew up on like an actual like tobacco farm with cows and all that. How did that prepare you? How did that prepare you for the world of wrestling? And how did you pivot from being in that environment to kind of getting into pro wrestling in general, I guess? Something I'd like to
It didn't prepare me for wrestling at all.
Okay, no.
Maybe the opposite. It prepared me for everything outside of wrestling, which has allowed me to be able to, maybe live a life that I could pursue wrestling as well. I learned about, man, I can just think about, from like time I was 5 and 6 years old, I was in a field working, sometimes all day, even as a kid. So you develop an appreciation for work, physical work, how much people put in, and sometimes how little they get out. So it gives you kind of a real perspective on what you want to do with your life. That's the way you want to live, or, if there's something maybe more that you want to do or try to accomplish, and just kind of a realization of how much work it's going to require.
Yeah, for sure, man. And so also as like a kid, part of the book here, it shows young Adam Page playing guitar, getting ready for this talent show. Are you a guitarist? Is this like something that pulled from your real life that you were always?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not good.
I didn't know that. That's why I was reading this. I'm like, did I miss something? Is Adam Page like, with Christopher Daniels and Kazarian over there playing music and things like that? So.
I can play guitar, but not very well. I'm very much like me in the book. I'm not very good at it.
Well, I didn't know. It seemed like you found your confidence there by the end. Spoiler alert. So anyway, also in the book, there's these talking boots. I don't know if you ever saw the MC Hammer show, the cartoon show from the 90s. Kind of reminded me a little of that. What was the inspiration for these talking boots to kind of guide you through this story here?
My real life. So there was a period in my life where I attempted a murder. And in attempting that murder, I got a small splotch of blood stain on one of my cowboy boots. So I tried to throw them away. When I threw them away, they kept haunting my dreams and speaking to me in my dreams, playing with my guilt and trying to get me to own up to my actions. So that's something that, happened in my real life, as you've seen on Being the Elite. Right. The talking boots from my real life made appearance here.
Took me a half second there, Adam. I went from like being blown away to realizing what you were talking about, but to heavy statement you just leveled there. Okay, gotcha. Never mind.
Right.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, that's cool, man. I love this device a lot. And you've decided to center the story around your courage, finding your courage to win this talent show, play this career, to win this talent show. You know, I've followed your career for many years now, Adam. Can you talk about like what this story really means to you and what that journey was like for you to really find that courage and when that kind of came about, when you kind of found that golden horseshoe in your life?
Well, this is a children's book, and like all children's book, there's a main character who struggles with something and has to overcome that struggle, and there's a lesson at the end, and there's a happy ending. It's a children's book. Life isn't necessarily always that way, I don't think. And maybe in my real life, I'm still looking for the horseshoe, so to speak.
Okay. And, before, because I kind of felt like maybe in a way, like you pairing up with the elite was you finding your horseshoe. It's interesting to hear you say that you still kind of haven't found it. I know that they were huge for you in your career. I mean, all these guys have praised you. I think Cody Rhodes has said you're the most talented member of the elite on like several occasions. What was it like for you in the wrestling business before you hooked up with those guys? What were kind of some of the doubts and questions you were having as you were just kind of starting to break in to the wrestling business there?
Man, like I guess when I started in wrestling, and I guess it's been 12 years since I started wrestling. There was really only one way to make a living, right? It was if you got signed to WWE. That was the end all be all. Everything that you did was an attempt to get a job there.
Right.
It was not to be a better wrestler. It was not to gain a following. It was the only end goal was to be in WWE so you could pay your bills with wrestling. That's changed a lot, obviously.
You're
in these past few years. Yeah. And man, I'm just glad to be a part of something that's kind of helping change that, I guess. So thinking back, over like formative years, the things that I worried about then are just not even remotely consideration at this point.
What was some of that stuff you were worrying about that seems trivial in retrospect right now?
Man, I guess like you go to all these seminars with like, these older guys who would just teach you like, this is the way it is. This is how you do this. This is how this works. And finding out that they're just wrong. I think the only rule in wrestling is, to kind of teach you what works, is that there are no rules. Anything could work for any reason. There's no telling, what's going to work for you. And there's no need to try to follow any kind of rules.
I know that you had a WWE tryout when you were younger. How did that experience affect you and your confidence rolling out of it?
I guess like when you're 18, 19, you start doing that kind of stuff. You feel so close to the only thing you think matters at the time. You think getting that job is the only thing that matters. And you feel so close, so you're so enthused, but then nothing ever happens after you go. And then you get pretty damn depressed about it. And you start to consider, if this is the only avenue to make it in wrestling, and you show up and nothing happens, you start to wonder, like, can I even keep doing this? What's the point?
Yeah, for sure, man. And like, well, that wasn't obviously the end for you. As much as you were shaking, you kind of had another opportunity come up, and that was when you started hooking up with the elite. Obviously, you were in Ring of Honor and things like that before, but I feel like that was the real turning point for you. Can you take everybody back to when you first met up with these guys, and why you think you gelled, and how did that friendship and that camaraderie come about together with you guys?
Man, I don't know. It was something that I hadn't anticipated, didn't plan for.
Yeah.
Booking is what got me put with Matt and Nick and Cody. It wasn't my decision, and I think even though I'm sure they had say in it, it ultimately wasn't their decision either. But we had a lot in common. I think we pushed each other to be more and more creative.
Yeah, sure.
And certainly they helped get me off my feet, in the wrestling world and kind of get noticed, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess what we had, in 2017, 2018 was just nuts. You can't bottle it, you can't replicate it, you can't fake it. It was just magic.
How did that affect you? Because man, you talk about that period there. I remember the rally outside with everybody yelling and stuff. And like the big thing for me here too, as I read this book here and I think about your quest for this golden horseshoe and finding your confidence and stuff, Cody has said such nice things about you. They've all said really nice things about you, but they don't just say it. They prove it with their actions. They put you real quickly in that AEW World Title picture. How did that hit you, man? Because obviously from the book and kind of what you're telling me, that struggle to really find your identity and that confidence, that's got to be a heavy weight for you to know that they're putting that kind of confidence in you,
Right. Well, I think about how we got to the first ever title match. And Chris Jericho got there by beating the best wrestler in the world at the time, and I might say now as well, Kenny Omega. And I got there by getting to enter into a battle royal dead last, and eliminating a lot of people who were, largely kind of unknown, underknown, under-successful maybe. So even our paths to that title match didn't feel equal. I never felt like I earned it maybe in the same way that Chris Jericho did. And then, getting to be in that title match obviously is a huge opportunity. And it's one that I blew. So here we are.
I guess that's the thing is like the golden horseshoe here. You say you haven't found it yet, man, which again, I was a little surprised to hear you say that. Is that your golden horseshoe? Is like becoming a world champion? Is that the moment you will have known that you kind of come to your potential? Is that what that is? Or is it something else that you're looking for when you think about that golden horseshoe?
Man, I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know.
That's why I asked it, So, okay. Well, lastly here, before I let you go, Adam, this is so interesting the way you guys have gravitated towards the children's book series and things like that. Your product is, it can be a little rowdy. Have you guys ever thought about doing a wrestling show for kids and kind of capitalizing on this momentum? I know you guys have talked about another show. I don't think that it would be that, but is it something you guys have discussed?
I don't know. Not anything that I've been involved in. Obviously there's room for everything. I've kind of felt like, in the past decade or two, maybe, I don't know. WWE's product has been largely, I don't say geared towards kids, okay. But kid friendly, right? Kid accessible.
Sure.
And I feel like, wanting to be something different than the thing that already exists. We are, not necessarily adult only, or overly adult, or certainly not something that kids can watch and enjoy. Yeah. But I feel like AEW's, niche is to be something that appeals a little bit more to adults and children. That being said, what comes in the future, I don't know, it's not really my place to say.
Sure. And how is it for you having an action figure, man, and seeing kids get to play with Adam Page and do those dream matches with the WWE action figures and things like that?
I don't know, because it comes out in a month.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess I saw him I was here at the C2E here in Chicago, so I got to see a preview of everything. So my mind there.
They do come out sometime in October. I think you can pre-order them online. Oh boy, I don't even want to tell you where to pre-order them because I'm going to say the URL wrong. But they'll be in Walmart next month. You know where Walmart's at. So yeah, I don't know. We'll find out then. It's pretty cool seeing it in person. I have gotten to see the figure itself.
Okay, cool. All right, Adam. Well, I want to thank you so much, man. Again, the book is Adam Page and the Golden Horseshoe. It's on pre-order right now. It's not available quite yet. Is that correct?
That is correct. Actually, I'm not sure about shipping dates, but I know that you can go ahead and you can go ahead and order it right now. Being the middle of September, the release is September. I don't think that we ever had a specific date scheduled, and I think they're going ahead and shipping out orders as soon as they get them. So it's, as far as I know, readily available right now.
Awesome.
You can get it through Amazon, you can get it through Barnes & Noble, places like that. I want to say Walmart as well sells it online. Or you can go to trismbooks.com. That's the book publisher's website, and you can order directly from them. Yeah, it's available now, so go get it like right now. This is what it looks like. This is the book. I have a physical copy. It's very nice.
Oh, is there like a favorite page? Is there, before I let you go, do you got a favorite graphic? Is there one?
Let me see, because I think I do. Let me see here.
Because we're going to release this on a podcast, so this is really incentive for them to go find the video interview right now.
Right.
Very tangible.
Oh man, yeah, this is one that I really wanted. This seems so like such a plain thing, but I really enjoyed it. I wanted to do, one with 3 little frames of me walking in the desert, and the view gets further and further and further away. I just really like that one.
Okay, great, wonderful, Adam. Hey, thank you so much for the time, man. I look forward to chatting with you down the road. Be well, my friend.
All right, take it easy.